Alrighty, we've got a full squad for today's cube draft video. It's a team cube draft, 4-on-4. I'm teaming up with Sandy Dog, Timmy Taplands, and Falcon Eye, battling against Ely Cassis, Master Plum, Hank the Obese, and Echo Baronin Andreas. Alright, what do we got here? This is a 4-on-4, we'll be playing 3 rounds, and it's the best format in Magic. Vintage Cube, also the best format in terms of tournament structure. Teams is amazing. Alright, we have Polluted Delta. Polluted Delta is solid. Actually, I do want to try something as we run in here. I'm going to move. You can see the sausage being made here slightly. I'm going to move my camera here because I would like to make it a little easier to see all the cards down there. Is that what I want to do? Let's see. Well, let's make this pick first. It's basically Polluted Delta versus Parallax Wave versus Grim Monolith versus Path to Exile. Honestly, I think I'm just going to take Polluted Delta. I like the other cards, but I feel like I've drafted mid-range white a lot, and I want to try something different. Oh, getting past a Tinker. Okay. Kind of makes me wish I took ye old Grim Monolith, but here, this is what we're going to try, actually. We'll make do anyway. Do I want to take Tinker is kind of the question here. So Tinker lets me sack an artifact to get any artifact out of my deck. If I didn't take Tinker, I would probably take Turok Dreadcantor. This really has been great. Or Skull Clamp. Either of those are very, very good. But you know what? I'm kind of interested. What happens if I do take Tinker? The addition of Portal to Phyrexia has really gone a long way. So let's see what we can do there. Now there's a Windswept Teeth, which even though it's not really my colors at all, it's still pretty good. There's also a red-blue Talisman, and given that I just took Tinker, I've got to take the Talisman here. So we'll take Talisman over Windswept Teeth. Nothing else here is really all that impressive, honestly. The other thing about taking Tinker, by the way, is when you're playing 8-player draft, I think that these kinds of the busted strategies get a lot better. Here we've got a Blood Crypt, which is interesting because it makes my Polluted Delta into a blue-black-red land. It's not bad. There's Indatha Triome, which adds green and white, but I'd rather add red, especially since I have a Talisman. I could easily be Grixis. Also, Grixis is a classic Tinker color. There's an Emery, which might wheel, and honestly, I think Emery is pretty hard to use. Like, you just have to have a lot of artifacts. Let's just take the Blood Crypt and see where we go from here. All right, there's a Tide Hollow Sculler. I do love that card. There's Thieving Skydiver, also a very good card. There's Relic, but that's a little early to be taking Relic. There's Liliana the Last Hope, which I've only found to be okay. There's some matchups where it's great, but overall I think it's just okay. There's a lot of matchups where it doesn't do that much. Otawar is decent, but I think I just take Skydiver. It's a strong blue card. Would be good against me. There's also Through the Breach, but I don't think that that's going to work out. All right, so far we have passed some of the white cards, definitely passed a couple green cards, but nothing like spectacular. Don't have a good Tinker target yet, but have a Talisman. Also, Thieving Skydiver is an actual Tinker enabler. You get to steal a cheap artifact and then tinker it away. That is something that could certainly come up. So I like this start. And our mana is already pretty good. Oh, this is a tough pick. Wow, there's Tolarian Academy, which is great. There's Time Spiral, which is fantastic, and there's Mana Leak, which is also fantastic. There's also Treasure Cruise, Moldrifter, Dothy Voidwalker. This is a classic. Do you take Time Spiral or do you take Mana Leak? Mana Leak is so good. When you draw Mana Leak, it's just incredible. But Time Spiral is very good in like a busted deck. You know what? I'm going to try taking the Time Spiral. It might not work, but I think I want to try to go a little more broken. We'll see if this ends up working well. I think that there is a decent shot here. Oh, wow, this is also tough because there's a Talisman, which is good with Tinker. There's Metalworker, which honestly I think Metalworker kind of sucks. I'm not going to take Metalworker. And there's High Tide, but given that I just took the Time Spiral, I'm just going to take High Tide. That's such a potent combination. There's also a Spire Bluff Canal, but don't care too much about that. The other thing to think of is, and this is some metagaming, which is totally legit in team drafts. I mean, you've seen what happens when I'm sitting near Sandy Dog and he's on the opposing team, right? I go white a lot more often. I'm getting passed to by Master Plum and Timmy Taplands, who are two of the newest members of the Discord. And it's not to say they're not good. They've had good records the last couple cubes and all that. But I think they're less likely to draft Storm, as evidenced by getting a 5th pick or 6th pick Time Spiral. And no, 7th pick High Tide is not really relevant because no one takes that card. But I think this is a good seat to potentially draft Storm. Oh, okay, now I'll probably just take Negate. Tinker for Torrential Gearhulk I don't think is a real thing. First of all, it only flashes back instants, not instants and sorceries, which confuses YouTube commentators. If you're watching this video now, you have no excuse. Why didn't you flash back Night's Whisper? The other thing is Negate is a good disruptive card. Makes me feel better about passing the mana leak. So I like where I'm at. And we'll see what we got next. Okay. Ugin is actually a pretty good play if you go like High Tide into Time Spiral into Ugin. That's actually a real win condition. But there's also Unlicensed Hearse, which gives me something to tinker away. And is not a terrible card to begin with. I probably, I was going to say I probably should take the Hearse, but it's just going to be kind of bad in the deck. Let's just take Ugin and have a good reward. Ooh, Impulse is perfect in this kind of deck. Look at the top 4 cards and put one in your hand. All right. And now there's Goblin Welder versus Dig Through Time. I don't really like Goblin Welder, and we're not going that hard into the Tinker stuff. Let's just take Dig Through Time. I think we might have a good mono blue deck. All right, passing. Basically, do I take Spell Queller because I might play it? I think so. I'm passing 2 decent green cards, so it doesn't really help to take a green card. I guess I'll take Breach. There's no reason not to take Breach as a spec. Otherwise, I would take Rex Sage as a hate draft, but this deck could easily pick up an Emrakul, and that would be a decent win condition. All right, well, the Tinker plan hasn't worked out so far. There's plenty of draft left, but picking up... Where did this Treasure Cruise come from? I guess I missed a pick. Weird. I must have lagged or something. Well, I don't really want Treasure Cruise and Dig, but I have to imagine Treasure Cruise is the best card there. There's also a Seething Song here, which works with a lot of my stuff, so... Even though the Tinker aspect hasn't really come through, I'm pretty glad I took the Time Spiral. Oh, I'm going to take Portal to Phyrexia now. So this is a 9-drop. When it ETBs, so when you Tinker for it, they sack 3 creatures. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, you could put a creature from any graveyard into play on your side. Plus, I got to wheel one of these 3 cheap artifacts, right? Because someone's going to take Tar Pit, Plateau, Elf, Ravine is 4, Ashiok's 5, Pestermite 6, Augur, Channeler, and 3 artifacts. Yeah, I'll be pretty sad if I don't get one of those artifacts back. All right, what do we got next? Cheap artifacts is all I want, but I'll just take Strip Mine. Strip Mine's a busted card. Don't mind taking it. It's like really that or Snuff Out, which is also really good. But also, this is colorless. There's no reason to pass Master Plum of Strip Mine if I don't need to. And I certainly don't need to. No blue cards in that pack, but that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. I don't think I'm going to get Snuff Out back, though I do think that card is a bit underrated right now. Okay, so the Spell Queller is currently not in. I am on the lookout for Through the Breach combos, especially with this Seething Song. Honestly, the Seething Song might be good just because I've got Ugin and Portal to Phyrexia, and just Seething Songing those out is fine. Dig is also a lot better than Cruise, and I'm not likely to play either, so I'm hiding all those. Oh, wow. There's Turnabout, which I'm going to have to hope wheels. There's Mystical Tutor, which goes and gets Tinker, Time Spell, or High Tide. There's also Brain Freeze. There's also Bribery. And Toxic Deluge, for that matter. I'm going to take Mystical Tutor. The reason I want to take this one is having more redundant ways to either Tinker or set up High Tide Time Spiral is very good. I'll probably wheel Turnabout, and I'm looking like a good mono blue deck. I don't need the Brain Freeze when I have Ugin and Portal to Phyrexia that much. I just have win conditions, and Bribery is a good card, but I think Mystical is going to make this deck a lot more consistent. Wow, no artifacts, but I'll take Jace. Jace is a good low drop. It's pretty good with High Tide or Impulse. Can be good with if they make you discard a Time Spiral or something. Passing up on like a Splinter Twin, yeah, that's not a big deal. I have Thieving Skydiver in the 3 slot because I hope not to cast it for 2 mana. I still would like more cheap artifacts. I'm hoping to wheel 1, and I'm hoping that I get a few more decent blue cards or artifacts this pack. These packs, it feels like Hank, there's a good chance Hank is not passing or is playing a lot of blue. All right, well, here we go. I just have to take Talisman of Indulgence here. It's definitely better than Talisman of Unity. Passing Zealous Conscripts and Twin back-to-back, but that's okay. And Pestermite, honestly. There's a Temporal Mastery, too, which is a card I do like. And a Mindslaver, which might wheel. No one really plays this card, but I've got to take Talisman here. It just works really well with what I've got. Also, despite the fact that I have all blue cards so far, literally just no non-blue cards, I have a red-black and a red-blue talisman and a blue-black and a red-black land, so that's a really good start. Oh, this is a tough pick, because on the one hand, Preordain's great. Makes your deck more consistent, smooths out your draws, just really good at finding what you need. The other hand, Saheeli Sublime Artificer. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you make a 1/1 artifact that you can tinker away, and it makes an artifact you control a copy of another artifact you control. I have actually been really impressed with Saheeli. I just have a hard time taking it over Preordain when I'm trying to set up all these 2-card combos. Okay, now there's Brainstorm, but there's also Show and Tell. There's also Time Warp and Palinchron. I could wheel Palinchron, honestly. No one really takes that card. And there's going to be 1 card left. Yeah, I mean, that's not actually crazy. Orcish Lumberjack would be maybe the other card that would be left. Brainstorm would be good here. It's also really good with Tinker because it lets you put your artifact back. Show and Tell is also really good with Portal to Phyrexia. I might just take the Brainstorm and decent chance of wheeling Palinchron or Show and Tell. I might not, but I've got such good high end. I feel like just making my deck more consistent is great. Well, here I'm probably going to take Echo of Eons. It's a time twister that you can flash back. Works really well with Lion's Eye Diamond. I don't have much in the way of discard. I do have Jace though. And I just took 2 cantrips, so Consider goes down a little in the pick order. I do think Echo is very good. Okay, well, I almost didn't wheel it. I didn't wheel blue-black or blue-white Talisman, but I wheeled Everflowing Chalice. That's good enough. The Tar Pit's still there, oddly enough, but I really like this deck. This deck is looking very sweet. I don't think I'm going to play Sylvan Library or Leovold. I don't think I'm going to play Enlightened Tutor. Yeah, getting the expensive artifacts is whatever. So I'll take Arc Trail, pass 2 green cards, 2 white cards, and a green, blue, black card. Arc Trail is a decent sideboard card or potentially a main deck card. So I have 17 playables without playing any other colors. That is pretty nice. At this point, I wouldn't even play the Blood Crypt. I'd probably play Pluto Delta to shuffle off Brainstorm. All right, Turnabout did wheel, like I thought. We're in good shape to do this thing. So the cards on my list, obviously I would love to open Black Lotus or Time Walk, you know, something broken. But even in the non-broken cards, in the category of cards I could get past, Lion's Eye Diamond is a card I could definitely get past. I wouldn't mind picking up like another big artifact. I would like 1 more big artifact and a couple more cheap artifacts, I guess. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I'm looking for. I guess I'll take Burgi, though I don't think I'm that likely to. Oh, also, if I end up picking up an Eldrazi, Emrakul to Aeon's Torn, I can get the Through the Breach in. I really like that. So I'll take Emrakul pretty highly here. So remember, last pick, we might get Show and Tell or Palinchron back, and I'd be happier with Show and Tell, but happy with either. Oh, a Talisman and a Temporal Mastery. Oh, this is hard. The 4th Talisman still has to be the best, right, with this Tinker? Yeah, I just have to take it. As much as I like Temporal Mastery. All right, last pick. It was the Abrupt Decay. That's okay. I thought that might be the case, but you know, so it goes. Okay, well, I guess Emrakul to Aeon's Torn. That is passing an Orcish Bowmasters, which is a very good card, and honestly would be pretty good in this deck. Is it possible that I should just take Orcish Bowmasters? It's kind of crazy, but let's see. So the Emrakul probably won't wheel. What's gonna go? Raphellos, Watery Grave, Llanowar Elf, Fourth Lingus. Krasis, Scarab God. Yeah, I don't think the Emrakul will wheel. It is possible, but not likely. Bowmasters, if I can set up Bowmasters Time Spiral or Bowmasters Echo of Eons, that's really strong. And it's just a great card. Yeah. Also, taking Bowmasters denies the other team of Bowmasters, whereas passing Emrakul, it's not that likely they'll be able to use it. All right, there's a Palace Jailer, but I'm going to take Mana Drain. This is such a good Mana Drain deck. There's also Wormcoil, which may wheel, though probably not, and another Talisman and a Probe. But, I mean, this is just the Mana Drain deck to end all Mana Drain decks. Here we have Coalition Relic, Sensei's Top, and Mishra's Bauble as cheap artifacts. We have Daze, which is solid. Ballista is another cheap artifact, and a Shelldock. This looks like a really good Shelldock deck, so let's just take that. And we have tons of playables, so I think we can do that. I'm feeling pretty good on my artifact count. Underworld Breach. If we'd taken the Brain Freeze, I'd be a lot more interested in Breach. I don't need the Prismatic Vista that much. I've got Polluted Delta already and a Black Talisman. Thirst for Discovery looks pretty good in this deck. Karn is also interesting, and there's Consecrated Sphinx. It's also Yogg Will, but I'm not really a Yogg Will deck. This deck doesn't really make use of Yogg Will very well. I mean, I have tons of playables here. Should I just take another fetch land? Just minimizing the amount of swamps I have to play seems like it'd be pretty good. Oh, wow. Remand and Ponder and Ulamog and Urza. And Lightning Bolt, for that matter. These packs have been really, really juicy. I would like another big artifact if I can find one. Let's just pick 5. I have 3 more picks plus the Wormcoil in my wheel. But I do also have Brainstorm to put back Portal to Phyrexia if I need to, and Time Twisters to reshuffle it. Do I just take Urza here? Urza is really strong. I have a bunch of cantrips. It's basically Urza or Remand, and I'm just going to not worry about the Eldrazi. The problem is, Through the Breaching Ulamog is so much worse than Through the Breaching Emrakul, in my experience. Let's just take Urza. Urza is pretty busted. When you just cast Urza, it's just really good by itself. I like when there's a busted mono blue deck. Blood Crypt, probably not in right now, unless I want to side in Arc Trail or something. But I want to get it to where I can play like 2 swamps and the rest islands, so that my high tide's great. Oh, there we go. There's Blightsteel, Sphinx, and Battlesphere, and Time Twister. The Bowmasters makes me want to take Time Twister. Let's see, how many cards are in this pack? 3, 6, 10. So there'll be 2 cards left. I mean, will one of the 2 cards be Iona? Probably. But will the other one be Sphinx or Blightsteel, which are both pretty comparable when it comes to Tinker? I also think so. Do I want a 3rd Time Twister? It just makes such a good Bowmasters deck. Yeah, I'm going to take the Time Twister. All right. Oh, Mox Diamond? And Treachery and Retrofitter? I'm going to take Mox Diamond. With all these Time Twisters, Mox Diamond's absurd. Okay. That's pretty good. And that's pick 7, so we even have one more pick here. Oh, a Narset? I'm so glad I took all the Time Twisters. Narset Bowmasters isn't a combo, but Narset with all these Time Twisters most certainly is. Okay. This is 29. I need to cut some cards. I can probably cut this Dig Through Time. I'm going to be Time Twistering my graveyard away every game. And this is 4 lands, so this is 12. It'd be 16 lands and a Mox Diamond, so I only need to cut like 1 more card. I think this deck is awesome. It's basically just going to cast a bunch of Time Twisters and at some point get a Bowmaster into play. All right, Baral's also a card I want in the deck. I think more than the 5th cheap artifact. Or the 6th, actually. I have 5 cheap artifacts already. All right, Emrakul didn't wheel, but I didn't think it was going to, honestly. Okay, well, there's another Talisman if I want it. That's pretty reasonable. I have so much. I also have like Brainstorm, Mystical Tutor, Preordain, Impulse, a lot of ways to Narset, a lot of ways to find what I need too, which is really nice. And with the Tinker for Portal thing, if I draw the Portal, I have a bunch of Time Twisters to get it back, and I have a Brainstorm. I could even like Mystical Tutor for Brainstorm if I'm in a hard spot. The one thing I wouldn't mind is that pack with 2 cards left, if I could get another thing back. Will I play Empty the Warrens in this deck? I could maybe at this point take out the Skydiver and just sideboard it. Empty the Warrens. I'll have the red sources pretty free. I'm going to cast a bunch of spells. I guess I don't care about passing all those green cards. Let's just take the Empty the Warrens and see. Because at some point I can just go like Mox Diamond. Like I just cast a Time Twister with Baral out so it's cheaper. Turnabout and just empty the Warrens for like 10 goblins or something. That does seem plausible. The one thing this deck would have liked to see is a Lion's Eye Diamond that it doesn't have. All right, Consecrated Sphinx is pretty reasonable. I don't think we're Galvanic iterating. Let's just take Consecrated Sphinx. I guess I could take Murktide Regent. I could also take Mystical Tutor. Whenever instant or sorcery card leaves your graveyard, so this actually works with all the Time Twisters. I don't think I'm going to play Mishra's Factory. I have enough artifacts. All right, 2 cards left. Any Sphinx of the Steel Winds or Blightsteels? Probably not Battlesphere, but all right, Blightsteel came back. That's what I thought was going to happen, and I'm not going to play the Sphinx, but I will play the Blightsteel at this point. Oh, and a last pick Talisman. Okay, well, I guess I took some of those Talismans a little higher than I needed to. Let's get to deck building. This deck's got some interesting decisions. Alrighty, so I ended up cutting Echo of Eons and 2 Talismans. just because I have 4 talismans effectively, plus a Mox Diamond and a lot of card draw. I think that's enough. And I wanted to play 16 lands with Shelldock and Strip Mine. Playing just the 2 swamps with Delta, Vista, Mox Diamond, and a talisman. Sadly, only one of these talismans was black. I got a bunch of non-blue, non-black talismans. And didn't end up playing Treasure Cruise or Dig. But I also have some good sideboard cards in Murktide, Consecrated Sphinx, and Skydiver. My teammates' decks look pretty good. We'll talk about those later. But right now, I'm playing Iwi Cassis. And yeah, I'll keep this hand. This hand does need to find Mystical or Time Twister, something like that, but I've got some outs to do that with this Preordain. Impulse and Orcish Bowmasters. Yeah, I will take those both, actually. And pass. I'm not sure about playing the Mox Diamond. If he plays a Black Source and Inquisitions me, I guess I'm glad I kept Bowmasters in that direction. Then yes, the Mox Diamond could be a liability, but I don't even know if he would take Mox Diamond with a discard spell. I think he's more likely to take Impulse at this point. Tarmogoyf. Tarmogizzle. Okay. It's kind of awkward that if I Bowmasters, if I Mox Diamond to play the Bowmasters, the Tarmogoyf gets bigger. I think I just pass with Impulse up. Don't think I want to do that. Actually, I should have just impulsed. Now that I think about it, if I draw a Mystical Tutor, then I would have much rather had the impulse. I do take an extra point of damage, though, so maybe that wouldn't have been good. I don't know. What is this? Oh, to the face. Okay. I'm at 15. And then here comes Llanowar. All right, well, that I'm going to kill. Brainstorm and all islands. I guess I'll take Brainstorm. All right, draw. Prismatic Vista's nice. All right, let's go Brainstorm. I'm going to put Portal back, I think, and I'll put one of the fetches back. And then I'm going to go Fetch Land, Mox Diamond, discard Island. Hold on, I got to crack this fetch now. Talisman, get another Island. Talisman, Bowmasters, killed elf. And pass, and now, well, just need to draw some action. I have 7 mana after High Tide. And that's a 4/5 Goyf. I think I'll chump it with the Orc Army here. And I have a negate up. I could have also kept an island instead of negate. Or I guess Pluto Delta would be. But I think a negate is going to buy me more time here. Okay. Pest Infestation, the Mox. Sure. Okay. Island, go. Okay. I guess I'm going to take 7 here. Don't love it. But if I draw Time Spiral or Time Twister, if I draw Tinker, I've got a lot of really good outs. Hopefully I can negate this. Eternal Witness, I cannot. Gonna get back Incinerate. Oh, yep, okay. All right, action, 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 action. Unfortunately now I need to block with Bowmasters. Yeah, I'm gonna probably board out Negate here. Burst Lightning, oh, I'm just dead. Okay. Wouldn't even let me see my top card. All right, well, against aggressive red-green, I want Murktide Regent. It's also good at fighting Tarmogoyf. He has a Mox, too. I could put in Skydiver for the Mox. No, I kind of like all these things. Blightsteel's good. All right. Pest Infestation is annoying, but what can you do? So that hand, yeah, I mean, I kept a hand that was a little mana-heavy and hit Preordain and Impulse, but then I never found Mystical Tutor, Time Twister, Tinker, Time Spiral, even something like Urza. That is one of the risks of this style of deck, is it is a little bit more situational than some of what we're playing against. Arc Trail is also interesting, but it's good against elves. It's not very good against Tarmogoyf. I guess I could kind of play it for free because I could cut a swamp for a Blood Crypt. Let's just see a little bit more of Ely's deck here before we decide on that. Yeah, I mean, I will keep this hand. This hand has some vulnerabilities here, but still good with Mystical. If he doesn't draw the Mox, I like the Strip Mine a lot. If he does draw the Mox, yeah. Oh my god. Okay, that's going to be hard. Well, let's see what we can do here, but I'm not feeling very good about this. Turn 1 Ragavan. All right. Hit a Talisman? Sure. Why not? I guess we're not strip mining. Let's play Talisman, I guess. Could also attack with Den of the Bugbear, but I am not going to be that lucky. It's just going to play something gigantic here. Pest Infestation? Sure. All right. I mean, this deck is busted. I have outs to draw. Mana Drain is one of them. All right, let's go Shelldock Isle. Playing any of these off Shelldock is pretty weak. I honestly think Turnabout is the most likely one to be something I want. I don't know. Okay, so I need Ely to play a 4-mana spell this turn. Well, that's not a 4-mana spell, but I'm also not going to let that resolve. Unfortunately, I can't play Ugin unless I draw... No, there's actually nothing I can draw that will let me play Ugin this turn. What a shame. All right. Really needed a 4-mana spell so I could go Ugin and wipe all these off the board. Tinker would still be good. It would Portal to Phyrexia a bunch of things. I guess Tinker actually wouldn't even be game over is the sad part. All right. Polluted Delta. Well... Cast this for 3, play Strip Mine and pass. So I'm playing Strip Mine so that I threaten to Strip Mine the Den of the Bugbear. I'm not actually planning on doing so. Because next turn I can cast Ugin with all my manas. Okay, Ragavan, come in. Season Pyro. Wow, his deck is good. These are just all great cards. Disappointing because I think my deck is awesome, but his draws, I mean, just double Mox Ragavan turn 1 is really hard to beat. I'll have to rally here. All right, I'm going to take a bunch of damage. You hit Urza. Oh my god, he can play the Urza, which means that Ugin wiping the board leaves a construct token, which kills me. All right. Well, shoot. Ugin, wipe the board. I'm at 6. There's a 4/4, animates Den. All right. That'll do round 1. Rough beats, but hopefully we can pull out the 2-1 here. Alrighty, time for round 2. Oh, I actually just realized I like the camera being up a little bit more, so I'm going to move this now that we're done with the draft. All right. Ooh, let's keep this hand. This hand's pretty nice. We get to play turn 1 Land Mox Talisman. It's actually a little tricky how we want to do this. It's possible we don't even play Talisman turn 1. That's the natural play, but what I'm thinking is if I wanted to play Talisman in turn 1, what would I have to do? I'd have to go Vista or Island and discard the other one because I'm not discarding Shelldock. But if I do that, I don't have a Vista for Brainstorm. On the other hand, if I go Island, discard Vista, play Mox, play Talisman, turn 2, I Brainstorm, and then I can play the Shelldock. It's effectively a shuffle because it clears my top cards. And if I Brainstorm into like Ugin, I can actually put it under the Shelldock. Yeah, that actually sounds pretty good. So I think we've got a plan here. I think my opponent is mulliganing here. So down a match, but played against great draws. And this, I mean, I think this deck is very good. We'll see if that conclusion, bears fruit over the next couple rounds. But I do have some, that kind of an issue with these kinds of decks is by definition, they're like tons of action, tons of mana, some action, and if you don't draw the action, the deck can be inconsistent. Turn 1. Lotus Petal. You could have given me like 50 guesses what they were going to Lotus Petal out. I would not have gotten to Skyclave Shade. I'm not going to lie to you. Oh, I guess I actually should have played a land first. I didn't really think about days. Yeah, if I get dazed, I get dazed. I'll just discard the island, play a land, play a talisman. I kind of feel like... Oh, and that one got dazed? Okay. So they were thinking about days. I kind of feel like leaving Vista in hand is good, even though it costs me a life, because it thins my deck out for Shelldock, which is nice. All right. Draw. Let's brainstorm here. Okay, let's put back Ugin, Swamp. Play Shelldock. Shelldock the Ugin. Pass the turn. And next turn, tinker for... I actually don't know. It kind of depends on what my opponent plays. If they don't play anything, probably just going to tinker for Blightsteel here. My reasoning is if I tinker for Phyrexian Portal to Phyrexia, I kind of feel like it isn't going to do that much. It'll kill the Skyclave Shade, and then next turn they'll be able to replay the Skyclave Shade, and I won't even get anything back. So, tinker. Remand, sure. I mean, that's obviously good because it made me lose an artifact, but it's just not that big of a deal. If they play another good creature here, then I might switch my tinker target as well. Okay, that's a decent thing to do after this tinker gets countered. Nope, it didn't get countered. All right, let's just get Blightsteel. Pass the turn. I mean, I don't love Blightsteel against blue-black. If I had like a Mirror Battlesphere, I certainly would have gotten that instead. But I think that this is good. It's kind of annoying because Tinker for Blightsteel against Ely's deck would have been really good, but I never really got to set that up. Pest Infestation is also very good against me. And as you saw. Okay, do they have an answer or not? I guess we'll find out. Kind of want to hold on to the... Oh, Entomb. Interesting. What are we entombing for? Kind of want to hold on to the Polluted Delta because if I draw Bowmasters, I'll want to get a land. Sower of Temptation. Mannequin into Sower. Oh, no, Glen. Oh, so they don't have a way to get back the Sower yet. Oh, this is probably just game, actually. Let's just get Island. Turnabout you. Tap all your creatures. All right, we got one with Tinker. Playing against blue-black. Didn't see, I mean, saw Lotus Petal. Probably not enough to bring in Thieving Skydiver. Definitely want Negate. Definitely want Bowmasters. Portal of Phyrexia I still think I like. Yeah, I still think it's good enough. Don't think I want Arc Trail. Murktide. Yeah. I like where we're at. I think we're doing good. Okay. Game 2 on the draw here. I'm going to be pretty disappointed if I don't get to Time Twister, Bowmasters, anyone. I would like to assemble that combo at some point here. What do we got? Oh. This is a pretty nice little hand here. I just get to go Island, Island, leave up Impulse and Mana Drain and Negate, and then maybe Mana Drain into Tinker. Tinker is probably at its weakest in this matchup because my opponent's A got counterspells, B got Sower of Temptation, and C probably has bounce spells. Also, they don't have very many creatures for Portal, so like overall this is not the best Tinker matchup, whereas like last round was a better Tinker matchup, but I also like my deck in this kind of matchup because Narset and Bowmasters are a lot better, presumably, and Negate is good. Also, I have a little more time, and this deck's pretty powerful when it gets enough time. I hope they don't have a Skyclave Shade. No, that's not true. I kind of hope they do have a Skyclave Shade. I guess you could entomb for Skyclave Shade? I don't know. Skyclave Shade is not a card I tend to find myself playing too often in Cube. Baleful Strix. That's a card I play quite a bit. I would have definitely taken that card if I saw it. Okay. Just pass here. see what we got. Fallen Shinobi would be brutal here. Land, attack, Fallen Shinobi. Can't counter it. It's just awesome. Imperial Seal. Well, I do love seeing Imperial Seal given my hand has 2 counterspells in it. So if they don't do anything, clearly I'm just going to cast Impulse end of turn. I wouldn't hate finding a Mox Diamond here, because then I could go land Mox and have double counter up, which could be important. If this is a cheap spell, I think that I can negate. That's probably where I'll start. We'll see. They might not play anything. And I have the follow-up play of Tinker if I really need to, depending on what goes on. Oh, okay. Play Prismatic Vista and pass the turn. Oh, I just did an impulse. I was so busy talking about what I was going to do. But you know what? It actually worked out great for me because drawing Time Spiral was good. So I got to save the impulse. I just needed to know a little bit more about what was happening before I cast impulse. Yeah, that's it. Grim Monolith, sure. Okay, Thieving Skydiver is looking a little bit more appealing here. Okay, now I will in fact cast Impulse. Blightsteel, High Tide, Narset, Urza. I think I'm going to take High Tide because now I have High Tide Time Spiral. Wow, not impulsing last turn. Really smart play. Land. I'm just going to say go here. They have built up a ton of mana. There's just no reason to tap out of double counter. If they don't do anything, hopefully I just draw a land. All right, they didn't play a land last turn. Let's go Talisman, I guess. I don't really want to discard. Discarding seems like it would be a mistake. So the other thing is, even if I lose a counter war here, I'm not convinced that whatever they force through, like they play a threat, I counter it, they counter back, right? That is definitely something that can happen now that I've tapped down a little. If that does happen, my follow-up play of High Tide Time Spiral is very good, or my follow-up play of Tinker. So either one of those would be, I think, pretty strong. Okay, I'm going to cast a Chalice for 1 here. And then I'm going to pass the turn. Now I have double counter up, so I'm not playing Jace or Brawl. Plus, I can just play Brawl the turn I want to cast all my other stuff. Entomb, sure. Not fighting over that either. Is it going to be the Mirror Breaker? Skyclave Shade to reanimate? That is actually kind of funny in this situation. So they have a Sower to go get. Presumably, if they're playing Entomb and Imperial Seal, Grim Monolith, like they have something bigger to get too with Entomb here. There's Iona. Okay. Snapcaster Mage, okay. What are we snapping? Entomb? So we're down to 2 cards in hand, and Imperial Sealed for some number of these cards. There's the skipper, Skyclave Shade. You need a land to be able to play it. You have 3 cards in hand. You're going to go for the Iona Reanimate? I will say, though, the Iona Reanimate is something I can't come back from. Like, if they reanimate Iona, then my follow-up plays don't work. So that is something that actually does end the game if that happens. Cast a Skyclave Shade? Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. Or are you going to go reanimate Iona? That's what I want to know. Less fine with Iona being reanimated, I'll be honest. Sure. Hit me for 3. Also sure. I'm not cracking fetches because A, I don't mind drawing lands, and B, the cards I put on the bottom aren't cards I really want to draw here. So Shelldock's not bad. Let's go Brawl. Shelldock. Ooh, oh, Orcish Bowmasters. They're at 24, and I'm at 25. I'm about to be at 24. Draw 23. Let's just put Ugin under here. That's fine. Pass the turn with 2 counters up, and now I can block the Snapcaster, so I'm only taking 4 this turn. And next turn, maybe I do something. Yep, take 4. I'm down to 9. I'm really down to 7 because I'm going to be cracking. I really would like to draw Bowmasters, so I think I am going to crack a fetch this turn. think I'm still just going to get all island, even though my only black source is a pain land. But with high tide out, or with high tide in hand, I kind of want all islands. Oh, are we doing something here? Animate dead Iona. All right, let's negate that. Draw with Baral. I'm going to shuffle in response. All right. Do I discard Island or discard Jace? I think I actually discard Jace here. All right, end of turn. Draw. Crack this. Get another island. Play another island. Shelldock here. Shelldock out Ugin. All right, I think it's time for Brawl to go. I'm just gonna Ugin for 2. That'll exile the board, and then I just pass the turn. Well, no, I don't need to pass the turn. I can now actually just tinker here. Tinker away Everflowing Chalice. Actually, funnily enough, I'm just going to get this, even though I did just Ugin, because this just puts an Iona into play, and then I can Iona blue, and that looks pretty good. All right, we have won the match. Felt kind of in control that whole time. 1 round left. This has been quite the speed run. Alrighty, time for round 3 against Echo Baronin, Andreas, my old vintage Super League nemesis. We've got like Omnath mono greenish ramp deck, which feels like it's got to be pretty good for me, especially since Ely's got the Pest Infestation, which is one of the cards that is quite annoying for this deck. I imagine I go over the top enough, fast enough that I should be in good shape. Okay, well, this is a solid hand here. A Mox Diamond away from greatness. Okay, well, that's an elf to ping, so that's good. Just play a land, pass. I have the Strip Mine, so leading on island isn't particularly unsafe, and if I do draw Mox Diamond turn 2, I'd rather have island Mox Diamond than swamp Mox Diamond. Though I guess I could also play Prismatic Vista and not crack it. But also if I draw swamp, I'd rather just do that. I don't know. Marginal play, whether you play island or Prismatic Vista first. Honestly, if I didn't have Strip Mine myself, I would probably play Prismatic Vista first. But because I'm the one with the Strip Mine, it's not a big deal. All right. Team is doing okay. Tapped. No. Oh, Raphaelos? Well, okay. We'll take that one out instead. Jeez. Okay. We got elves everywhere. Ugh, what a bad draw. All right, let's get Swamp. Was really hoping to draw action or islands, not Blightsteel Colossus, but at least this is good here. Because the problem is next turn, if I don't draw a land, then my hand is real slow. And even with Bowmaster killing Raphaelos, Andreas is now 5 mana if he's got a land, even 4 mana if he doesn't. Though can't cast Omnath, is missing red mana. We've got a close game going with our teammate. Let's just check in real quick. Oh, it was close. It is no longer close because my teammate has the initiative, a Solitude, an Adeline. Okay, well, this is looking good. They're going to be going to game 3 soon enough. Going back to our match. Nothing's happened. Haven't missed anything. Don't you worry. We've got, let's see. Presumably Andreas has a good play to make. But we'll see what they do. Sandy here is losing, unfortunately. Well, we'll see how things go. Andreas must have some good options. Well, the thing is, when your opponent thinks for a long time, and this is an actual useful way to get a read, either they have a lot of good plays or a lot of bad plays. They have a lot of plays of similar power levels. Because if there wasn't clear best play, they would just do it most of the time. Bricking on the Blightsteel and the land drop earlier has made this hand pretty vulnerable. I really would like to just draw a land and I can just play double Talisman this turn. That would be pretty nice. Obviously, Demonic Tutor gives you such a big decision tree. Like, imagine, when you're normally you have like, all right, I have 3 cards in hand. Which one do I play? Oh, God. I think I impulse for a land. It's pretty weak, but because the problem is if I play a Talisman, at least Shelldock is a good land. If I play a Talisman, then I still need to draw a land next turn. If I play this, I think it's pretty nice. All right, let's put Time Twister under there. I think that's better than putting Narset under. And let's attack. I don't really see a big reason not to attack. Pass the turn. The other thing about keeping Chalice in hand, which is nice. So Collision Relic is bugged. We all know this. And he's just not going to use the mana he gets off Relic. It's fine. The cool thing about not playing... Oh, did they fix the bug? Cool. Appreciate it. Thanks, Daybreak Games. The cool thing about not playing Chalice is if next turn I can go... If I draw a land, I can play Urza, play Chalice for 0, and it still taps for mana, which is nice. Nissa is probably what's coming out here. Oh, no. Well, yes, this is Nissa, but it's big Nissa. 3 loyalty, going to make a 4/4. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Cast with multi-kicker for 0. And then Tinker. I'm going to get Portal to Phyrexia. And then I'm going to attack Nissa. And Tinker was a great draw. Wow, really smart of me to impulse so I get Tinker as my top card. It's going to get to blow up the portal with Nissa with the -1, but then presumably I get to kill the Nissa after that, and it killed a 4/4 and 2 things using a Chalice which didn't do anything. My play otherwise would have been so much worse. It was just like play a Talisman, play a Chalice or something. Didn't blow up the portal. Does he have a different way to blow up the portal? Because, I mean, I guess this lets you keep Nissa. I guess all I'm getting is like an elf. But getting an elf seems pretty good. Okay. Well, we'll see. Let's put, I think, Noble Hierarch. Actually, the other 2 elves don't tap for mana, which is actually pretty funny. Land would still be pretty good here. Because land would let me play Urza this turn. Also, I'm very close to Time Twistering, which I would certainly like to do. Yeah, if I draw a land, I clearly just play Urza, and I could even play Talisman off of the tapping the portal for mana. All right, I like that. Because next turn, I'm going to get to cast Time Spiral, presumably with Orcish Bowmaster still in play. I mean, we'll see about that, but seems like I have a good shot of that. All right, sack Sakura Tribe Elder. Get a mountain is my guess. Oh, swamp. Okay. And now Nissa probably wants to kill the Portal to Phyrexia here. Otherwise, I get back Sakura Tribe Elder. Oh no, we're still making dudes. All right. I'm at 19 and have some good chumpers. This does put me in danger. It's 5, 6, 7 of Craterhoof. I don't know that he has it specifically, but making creatures every turn kind of makes me think Craterhoof. And 1 mana short. Let's say he played Craterhoof +4/+4. That's 9, 16. Oh, and that can't even attack. But then this gets to untap with a -1/-1, 2 -1/-. So yeah, wouldn't be enough. Okay. Let's get Sakura Tribe Elder back. And Charging Relic, sure. On my upkeep, sack Sakura Tribe Elder, get another island. Draw. Okay, well, let's just do the thing, right? 3, 4, 5, turnabout. Land, untap. 4, 5, 6, Time Spiral. I'm going to need to Time Spiral with the Bowmasters out. All right, let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This counts. I didn't get to resolve the triggers, but that's okay. Here, I got to show my teammates. All right, so that was game 1. Consecrated Sphinx, Thieving Skydiver. Arc Trail looks amazing. All right, I got to bring in Arc Trail. So I got to bring in Blood Crypt and Mountain, Cut Swamp and Island. And this is a red-white talisman. This is red-green. This is red-blue. This is red-black. All right, I guess all my talismans were red somehow, so. If given that I'm bringing in that, do I want to add a Burgi? I can play the Horn. No, that seems kind of weak. I also don't like Through the Breach Colossus. I don't find that generally works. Do I want to take out Negate? It's got Nissa, Demonic Tutor. Don't want to take out Blightsteel. Don't really want to take out anything. I could take out a Talisman. That seems dubious. Maybe I do just take out Negate. Yeah. I just don't have room for that many reactive cards, and Arc Trail and Negate are both reactive, so I think that that's going to be better. Maybe I just try to fight the mana dorks more than the big spells. I have Bowmaster and Arc Trail. Those both work pretty nicely. We've got Mox Diamond is like probably the best card to see on the draw, though Bowmasters is also pretty good. I'm happy with the Bowmasters pick over the Emrakul. I think that actually did work out pretty well, but it's hard to tell. The main reason that I like it is I think Bowmasters plus Time Twister is pretty comparable to Emrakul Breach in the sense that if you do those things, you're probably going to win. Getting 7 1-damage triggers plus a 7/7 into a mulligan here is all right. Well, I'm not mulliganing this hand. This hand's great. Let's put a mountain on the bottom. So those combos are comparable, but Time Twister's a lot better of a card than Emrakul or Through the Breach, and Bowmaster's a much better card than either of those. You can just cast Bowmasters and it's great, whereas the other two you don't. So that plus the fact that I'd be passing the other team of Bowmasters that I couldn't beat, and it's just a good card in general, made me pretty happy doing it the way I did. All right, so if he plays a turn 1 Delric, I go Strip Mine, Mox, discarding Island, Bowmasters, I guess. I don't think I was supposed to keep Mountain over Mox Diamond. Even though on a mulligan, Mox Diamond's a little brutal. Like, I'm at 6 cards and I have to go to effectively 5 to play the Mox Diamond. Getting black mana to play an early Bowmasters seems pretty strong. The one thing about Arc Trail, though, is I could also just go turn 1 Shelldock, turn 2 Strip. So let's see. Maybe I will let the Arbor Elves live for a turn. All right. Yeah, we'll put Blightsteel under the Shelldock. It makes my Tinker a little weaker, but I'm probably going to want to Tinker for Portal against a creature deck most of the time. And it's a lot better to hit when I get to 20 cards than Preordain. So this does risk giving Andreas 3 mana on turn 2. But on the other hand, if he plays another elf this turn, I get to kill it. Is this a Green Suns for... Oh, Finale for an elf. Yeah, we get to Arc Trail both these elves down. You do love it. And Strip Mine. Oh, or I could Brawl. No, let's just Strip Mine. I'm not really in a hurry here. Not like getting out of Brawl does too much for me. All right, you were going to have 5 mana on turn 3. Let's make that 2 mana instead. Let's go full land destruction. I like it. All right, land go. Land, Talisman, Brawl. All right. Well, now if we draw a Time Twister, a Tinker, a Mystical Tutor, all those things are great. Okay, hopefully this is somehow another 1 toughness creature. Or nothing. Let's just wait on the Brainstorm. I don't have a shuffle effect right now. I don't care about missing a land drop. I have enough mana in play, especially with Brawl, that I can just wait a turn or two. Oh, well, now that I drew a shuffle effect, then yes, I will Brainstorm. All right, land. Play Polluted Delta. Attack. I don't think I play Portal to Phyrexia here because I want to be able to kill something. I can Tinker to kill a creature. Okay. Yeah, this probably works now. I'll take it. And let's just get an island here. Play Bowmasters. Shoot Nissa. Now I get to attack Nissa down to 2. I'll get Portal to Phyrexia. Eat your land. Attack Nissa down to 2. Could have waited one more turn on Portal, but I think getting that out there is good. I don't know. I do get to get a Noble or whatever next turn. I could also block with Bowmasters. Oh, no plays. And get Bowmasters back. All right, let's get Noble. Any Time Twisters. Also, any card draw spell gets me closer to shell docking a Blightsteel here, which is pretty nice. Maybe I should have waited one turn on Portal. I definitely could see that being a better play to make. Okay. Presumably he's got no plays to make here, because last turn he had access to 10 mana and didn't play anything. 23 cards. I might triple block the forest now, because I can also get Orcish Bowmasters back. If that's what ends up getting killed. I could have also left Blood Crypt in hand because I have the loot on Brawl, but I don't have very many counters. I have Mana Drain, that's it, because I boarded out the negate. I guess I'm glad I boarded out negate at this point. Oh, hopefully he doesn't have a big play here, because he has 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11 mana without even playing a land. Yeah, Portal to Phyrexia is pretty cool. I really like this addition to Cube. Alright, didn't tap for mana, attacking with both. Block, block, block. I'll take 3. I don't need to lose my Noble here. Okay. Oh, I like this exchange. And hopefully the play here isn't something massive. Doesn't have black mana. Could be playing black mana Winter Orb, sure. I don't really have a problem with that. All right, let's get Orcish Bowmasters back. And now I get to Portal to Phyrexia, ping the forest, because then I can attack Nissa with Brawl. Brawl will be a 2/4 thanks to Noble Hierarch. Forest will have a point of damage on it. So it's like I get 2 points of damage in. I could do that. That's actually probably worse than just trying to make that same triple block as last turn. So I think I'll be doing that instead. All I need to do is draw Time Twister. Preordain. I already drew my Brainstorm. I would even probably take Mystical Tutor. Time Spiral. Any of those things would be excelente. Urza. Yeah, I can name some good cards. That I certainly can. All right, let's just ping the Nissa because I want to make blocks here. All right, action. This one I will leave in hand and pass the turn. I'm at 10. I might chump with the Nissa or the Noble this turn. It's kind of nice having Noble out when there's a Winter Orb out, but I also don't want to take too much damage. All right. Do you attack is kind of the question. I guess you can attack and just not kill the Bowmasters is also another option. Block, block, block. I take 3 down to 7, I guess. Yeah, I killed the Brawl this time. That makes sense. End of turn. Yeah, I'll get Brawl back. All right. Any action? Any action. Narset would also count. I've already used both my fetches, right? Oh no, I haven't used Prismatic Vista. I shuffled that in. Even Prismatic Vista would be okay because that gets my Blightsteel out of turn faster. So, oh, Preordain, there we go. That's probably enough. Oh, 2 more lands. That's a lot of lands. into another land. Okay. I don't really want to play a big prismatic. Oh, I guess I should have tapped the Mox anyway. I don't really want to play a big Everflowing Chalice because of the Winter Orb. Let's just do that. Pass the turn at 7. Well, getting to put in Surprise Blightsteel is pretty nice. Block, 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 block. Well, hopefully Blightsteel's good enough to win the game. It's even going to get exalted. It's going to be a 12-12. Well, neither of us played lands for a million turns. We finished with a 2-1. Honestly, I'm even a little disappointed to go 2-1 with this deck. I think this deck's pretty good, though I guess these draws maybe didn't show it. Just the potential for such fast combos, and I think a pretty consistent deck overall with the cantrips. Ended up working out pretty well. Let's hope my team wins. We'll check in on them now. Alrighty, good news. My team went 7-5. I went 2-1. Sandy Dog went 2-1. Timmy went 2-1, and Falcon I went 1-2. That's 7 wins out of 12. That's a victory. Yeah, this deck was great. I mean, I would take this in every team draft. Obviously, I like drafting different decks. I wouldn't want to play the same deck over and over. Power level wise, I would expect this deck to go 2-1 or 3-0 a lot of the time. It's just the combination of Mana Drain, Mox, Mystical Tutor for Tinker, Time Twister, Time Spiral, alongside Turnabout and High Tide. It's just got the mana generation. It's got Preordained, Brainstorm, Mystical to make it, and Jace to make it more consistent. Impulse as well. And it's got Orcish Bowmasters plus Draw 7s, Tinker into these things, or High Tide into Ugin. It's even got like the Shell Dock. So very good deck. And I was really happy to get to draft like a kind of broken blue deck, which you don't get to draft very often in these, but that's part of the reason the 8-player drafts have a slightly different metagame than the 6-player drafts. Well, as always, thanks for hanging out. We had a really fun draft today. I really enjoyed this deck, and Ely did end up going 3-0 with his red-green beats deck. That deck was sick, so certainly no shame in losing to that, but unfortunately for him, the rest of his team did not deliver. The 3-0 ship is always not where you want to be. Alrighty, that'll do it for today. Tomorrow, another sweet draft on the horizon. Will I be casting Time Spirals or will I be casting, Sylvan Libraries? Only one way to find out. Head on back here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.